Oei, 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 oei. Zal ik toch heel even kort introduceren. Speelgroep, dat zullen ze uiteraard zelf zo dadelijk ook doen nog met wat sheet. Maar Speelgroep is momenteel ons belangrijkste bedrijf in Nederland met het maken en distribueren ook en exploiteren. Dus die 3 dingen samen van spelletjes. En is bijvoorbeeld ook in China heel groot aan het worden. En is zeg maar een van de pareltjes van onze, wat ze dan, het woord hoor je steeds minder, maar het is er nog wel, kenniseconomie noemen. En daar wil ik het even bij laten. Wij gaan nu luisteren naar Peter Driessen, Gina Jetten en aan jullie het toneel.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm trying to do it in English as I have to introduce you Gina Dunn because she's American and she's really a game fanatic and she's also a crazy MMO player. And therefore, and as she's working with us for half a year, I will try to do the whole meeting of the whole presentation in English. But the questions which are going to be asked at the end, I will do in Dutch.
Okay. And I'm very excited to introduce you to Peter Driessen, CEO of Spil Games. While he also loves internet technologies, and he does play games occasionally, it's not quite as crazy as I am to play for hours and hours on end.
What we're trying to do is, you see it already, to open up the fog. We will try to open the online game market and really tell you more about what's going on in this really mass market.
So, what are we going to talk about today? First, we're going to tell you a little bit more about online games. What are online games? Why are they different from console games, every other type of game in the world? Second, we're going to talk about advertising models and how the online game world can benefit all of you in the audience.
And of course, we want to talk about trends and future technologies. And my favorite subject, who is Spil Games and what are we doing?
So, when you talk about the online games and you talk about games in general, there's a lot of different types of games. First, we're going to talk a little bit about online casual games. What is a casual game? They're played on a computer. Typically, they're browser-based, Flash or Shockwave. They're accessible. They're very fun to play. Demographically neutral. Easy to play, but not easy to master. You'll see that they are also adapted time and space. Can be played for short bursts or for long periods of time, for hours. Maybe you know casual games. Maybe you're playing them at your lunch break. Maybe you're playing them when you come home from work to unwind a little bit. Gameplay is typically quite simple.
Yeah, you can find these kind of games on all kind of portals. We are having 45 portals across the globe. On these kind of gaming portals you find around 2,000 games. But where did it all start? What's the history? It started all with Solitaire and Bejeweled 7 and 8 years ago. And from there a lot of games were being developed. And I think now more than 10,000 of games are really on the net to find and to play. Mostly these are flash games, and flash games have a very low entry, so you can play them right away, don't have to subscribe, and that makes it very easy and fun to play. So this is an example from one of the games, and this is a Bombit game, and we're seeing if it is going to play. I hope so. Yes, there it is. Mostly these are the kind of games, for example, children love to play, boys and girls. And this is a kind of a quest in which you can lay bombs and really take care that you make the others fail. And it's some things which people really love to play. And these kind of games are played for a billion times across the globe. We had Bombit 1, and that was the most successful game ever on the internet.
Yep. So the next game we're going to show is a little bit of a different demographic. This is a little bit more targeted toward girls, and you'll see why. So in this game, you're able to build your own room however you want it. You can decorate, you can put anything you want in your room, you can print it, you can see everything about it. So this is really about making your own space. Something very much that children like to play as well. Of course, you have to put some dance game pads in there.
And in the meantime, you can relax a little bit with the music in it. Well, there's another example, and yeah, that's the Bubble Elements. There's a bubble shooter. There's also a very popular game on the internet, and it's a kind of puzzle game. It's a little bit familiar with the Tetris game, and yeah, it's being played, I think, also for billions of times.
So yeah, in the game, of course, you're clearing away the bubbles of the similar color. So, we'll move on to the next section. We've talked about online casual games, but what about MMOs? Who's familiar with massive multiplayer online games? Anyone in here? Yeah? Maybe you recognize some of the logos like World of Warcraft. These are, yeah, you've got 12 to 15 million people playing on these games, but there is a lot more to MMOs than what you see here. These are the games that you buy in the store and you subscribe and you're playing these on your computer. There's a lot more to MMOs. There's also casual MMOs. These are also easy to play, low entry, similar to casual online games. They're played on a computer, they're played over the internet with a massive amount of other players, hence the name Massive Multiplayer Online. There are a bunch of different genres included as well. You've got the most common role-playing game, MMORPG. You've also got sports games that are MMOs, and you have dance games. Many times these are played in a browser, Flash, Shockwave based as well.
And this is also an example. A lot of children play in MMOs as well. Habbo Hotel is maybe familiar with you. This is other kind of game. This is a game especially for boys and girls between 6 and 10 years old. My daughter is playing a lot in it. Every week she goes in it and she plays with her panda bear. And also she can play all kind of games in this environment. And what's really cool is that it's very safe and children friendly.
Children definitely love to play on these online MMOs as well. So the next one, just to show you briefly, is more of a classic MMO. It's called RuneScape. This is one that it's free to play, or you can have a subscription as well and have additional items in game. It's free to play online, so you have a browser-based game as well. So in this type of game, you are walking around, you're gathering quests, similar to what World of Warcraft is. You're gathering quests, you're slaying monsters, as you see here.
Well, the question is this a mass market? If you look globally wide, you can say around 1.4 billion people are online now. From these 1.4 billion people, 40% are playing online games. So 500 million people are playing games nearly every day and at most 4 times a week. So, yeah, it's a mass market, and you see nowadays that children are more on the internet, spending more time on playing games and watching the television.
What does this mean for everyone here? It does mean that it opens a large world of possibilities. You have a lot of new opportunities now available to you. Where you have this mass market. What are you going to do with it? How can you tap into this mass market? What does it give you? Highly targeted opportunities for media. It gives you a rapid mass reach. It gives you significantly the ability to increase your brand awareness like nothing else. It's huge. The market there is huge. What also gives you consistent traffic growth. You see that within this market, within the online games market. And a lot of media opportunities are opened up to you. Talk a little bit about the different advertising models that are available in the online games world. You have branded games, also known as advert games. I'm sure some of you are aware of this. I'm sure some of you are aware of all of this in this advertising models. You have game integration. You also have other things such as product placement within the game. You have in-game display ads. You have post, pre, in-game ads, video ads. You have game portal display ads, and last but not least, game portal specials. We'll go into a little bit more of them here.
Yeah, you have a pre and post roll. So pre-roll is an advertisement which is being shown before or after the game. It's, I think most people are familiar with these kind of advertising. What we see is that because the game has to load, people really have a high acceptance to look to the game. And a lot of videos are shown as well in the pre-roll. And what we see nowadays, because we can reach such a mass audiences, that a lot of advertising money which is now going into television commercial is going in video advertising models and which are being shown on the internet.
Yeah, imagine the fact that if it's a pre-roll, you have 20 seconds that you're waiting for the game to load. Are you going to walk away? Probably not. You're going to watch the ad. As an example.
Can you click it, please?
There you go.
Yeah, this is a good example of a preloader. The game is now loading, and you can watch a video, or you can watch a kind of advertising.
Right before the game loads. So a little bit about game portals and game portal advertising. These are advertisements that are shown on these game destination portal sites. So you have the websites that have all of these thousands of games available on this site for free. So you have this destination. Game portal ads are ads that are shown around the game. Traditionally, they are standard display banner ads in all of the standard formats. And why are these advantageous? Well, they attract a high volume of traffic to those portal sites. So you get a high amount of traffic to view your ads.
Then we have game portal specials, especially game seeding, but Gina will talk a little bit more about that later. You have site takeover. I will show an example of that one. This is a site takeover. Mostly, if you see Gamesco UK, above Gamesco UK, there's nothing. But now there's an ad integrated from Boomblocks. It's a Wii game which has completely been wrapped around the portal.
So what in this media, the new age of this media, and we're talking about online gaming, what do we see most developments coming from? We see branded games, advert games increasing in popularity. We see targeted advertising. We see in-game advertising and game markets. We're going to talk a little bit more about those. Branded games. Branded games, who knows what an advert game is? Very familiar with advert games. Right. So what we have with an advert game is a mix of marketing and entertainment. So a game is made. It is branded completely around a product, a company, whatever that may be. The game is played for free. It's placed on portals. It's seeded out. It has very good retention of the product or the message itself. And it can easily propagate viral marketing, and we all love viral marketing. We all know what that does for a brand, how much increases the awareness. But for these types of games, they have to be seeded, which means they have to be placed on a game portal. They can also be placed on the website of the company, but they should be placed to have mass amounts of traffic, the traffic that we talked about, those big numbers of the mass market, they need to be placed and seeded somewhere. This is an example of a branded advert game.
This is also a very easy game, and it has. This is a game where the government wants to draw attention that you give back your batteries when they are empty. A lot of popular brands are working with advert games or branded games. You can see a lot of them like HP, L'Oreal, Philips, or K-Swiss. Also Coca-Cola is very good in advert games. So yeah, these are really big brands who are putting more and more money into these kind of environments. Another trend in advertising is targeted advertising. Not completely new, but it's coming up. And what we'll also see is behavioral targeting. How does it work? Of course, on our sites, a lot of people are coming in, and we don't know who they are. But what can you do? For example, what you can do is if a person plays a dress-up game, you can say, well, possibly it's a girl. And if after this person has played this game, is going to play, for example, a beauty resort game, then, well, definitely it will be a girl, likely for a hood with a 95%. And you can add all kind of behavior to a kind of profile. And with that, you can go to the advertisers and really say, well, this is the audience which can match with your product best. Also, you can work with all kind of opportunities like profiling. In some game environments, people do have to subscribe. We know who they are, and then you can match also the advertiser to the right audience again. Another development are the ads market. I think Google AdSense was more or less the first. It's a market where you can buy ads, and you can, as a publisher, you can go to and say, well, I have so much impressions, and can you fill them up? But more ads markets are coming up. For example, Right Media, but also OpenX. OpenX is a kind of technology like Dart, an advertising technology. And these are markets where if you have got great volumes, you can go and see if they can bid on your inventory.
In-game advertising. You've probably seen it. You probably know what it is all about. In-game display ads. These are commercials and ads that are placed directly inside the game. In many cases, they will be on a billboard. They will be on a truck in a racing game, for example. They will be on the side of the game. They will be printed up in the air. They will be anywhere in the game. Okay? Standard like you would see outside, advertising outside, but in the game. Static and dynamic possibilities are available. The dynamic possibilities are where that you can switch the ads out within the same game. They're very, very popular in virtual worlds. We've seen that in Second Life. I'm sure you've heard about the advertising in Second Life. As an example of what it looks like to have advertising within the game. When it plays. So, here you have a game, little racing game, so you see the Spil Games banners here. And ooh, what's written in the sky? We've got Emerce Eday. So, these are ways that you can definitely target and definitely have a way of advertising within the game itself in casual games. Let's talk about the future. What do we see happening? We see that there is probably going to be a lot more integration within social networks. We see mobile gaming. We see additional technologies. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about the trends. Social networks. Who's familiar with Facebook? Who knows Hives? Who knows LinkedIn? Okay, these are all forms of social networking. The difference between Hives and some of the others is that they're segmented in certain countries. Hives is Dutch. LinkedIn is a bit global. But what you're seeing is that these online communities are a platform for gaming as well. You see that Facebook has an open API, and they have the ability that you can submit your game onto their platform. So what you see on the top right is a list of what you see under games under the applications in Facebook. This allows you to play in a multiplayer fashion with all of your friends that are linked into you on all of these social networks. It's a very nice way for a massive multiplayer action. So what you get here is you also see some people trying to monetize from this. We know Scrabulous and Scrabble. Maybe some of you have played Scrabulous on Facebook before it was removed. Scrabulous was started by a couple of guys who made a Scrabble game. They placed it on Facebook. The game ran, it had 1 million players. They monetized it, they drove the traffic to their own website, and the rumor was that they made $25,000 a month doing that. And then they disappeared. Hasbro came in, and now there's a real Scrabble game. But the question is, and the challenge is with this, is how do you monetize if you're putting your game, these games, onto these platforms, such as Facebook, such as MySpace, such as Hive, such as any of these platforms? First, you have the problem that not all of them have open APIs. So some of them are closed platforms, and you simply cannot. You simply cannot put your game there. The networks are closed. Those that are open, okay, you put your game there. How are you monetizing? And how are you advertising within the game? And then it's segmented.
Then we have, of course, mobile gaming. And mobile gaming has been the promise, I think, for a while, but it has never been filled in, really. And what you see is that a lot of new users are coming in, especially in Asia. The green line and the blue line. The green line is Asia Pacific, and the blue line is the rest of the world. And the red one is North America, and there's also the Western Europe is the yellow line. So especially in Asia, a lot of new users are popping up, and mostly these users use their mobile phone as the device with which they go to the internet for the first time. So a lot of opportunities are there, especially because these kind of devices give much more possibilities to play games. But what we see that the mobile devices are still not easy to use. It's really, you cannot reuse it very properly. Flash technology is not standard on these devices, so not a lot of games can be played because most games are in Flash. And mobile internet penetration is still low, or it's not being used that widely. And where is it waiting for then? It's waiting for technologies and platforms and devices who are really open for mobile internet. Then you go on your mobile to an internet browser and you open up, for example, Jeux.France, and you can play hundreds of free games instead of going to a store where you have to buy a game for 10 or 20 US dollars.
Talking about mobile gaming, who has an iPhone? In here. iPhone. So, a lot of us have them. Have you played games on the iPhone as a gaming platform? It's a bit of a new form of gaming and a new platform, because you see a game like Bejeweled, which is a very, very popular casual game, but that's available on the iPhone. When you play that on the iPhone, you're playing with the touchscreen. That is the main purpose of playing, and the main gameplay ability is with the touchscreen. And then the second one is the Sega game, I believe, and this one is the one where you use the accelerometer to actually control the game. So it's very different from standing at a computer and playing the game. What do they think is going to happen with the iPhone platform itself? Sales are expected to be 45 million, end of 2009. We'll see what happens. Game developers like the platform in some cases because it has the same processing power as the Nintendo DS and the Wii, and it's mobile and it's in your hand. Every iPhone is connected to the internet, so yeah, of course, then you have the ability to have an internet or a mobile MMO directly in the game. But it also presents a lot of challenges. How do you monetize? How do we advertise? Apple has a revenue share model that's a split 70-30. There are ad networks already available where your ad is running in free games, for example. There are in-game advertising options that are free games. Also pre- and post-roll ads within a free game. Connecting to the internet. Of course, there are concerns. Apple's SDK, software developer kit for the platform itself. How are you developing a game for it? Is it allowed to be? Are you breaking anything in the EULA? The system's completely closed. So imagine you have a game running, and then you have all of this in-game advertising within the game, and you're branding the game, or it's a branded game, however that is. And Apple decides to pull the plug because or that Apple wants a cut of this revenue as well. These are the concerns that we see as possibilities coming up with a gaming platform.
Yeah, what do we see as other trends? In the advertising world, we see more and more sponsorships. We see also more and more polls in which advertisers want to interact with the audience directly. And we see a lot of developments on the content side. Of course, for us as being exploiter of games and having a lot of game portals content, and the best game content is very important for us. So what do we need? We need all kind of open system in which developers can plug in their games, and when these games are being played on our portals, that they get a share of the cake, so to say, so they get a share of the advertising. How do we do that? We do work with all kind of environments like Mochi Ads or with Nonaba, and we are also developing open platforms ourselves. A good example is Mochi. Mochi Ads is that's a platform which links the games to the gaming portals and from the portals link the games to the online audiences. And what does Mochi Ads do? Mochi Ads does place adverts in between the games and shares with the developers and shares with the portals. But for example, we are also working with Mochi Ads, but we do it the other way around. We place our own ads and then share back to Mochi Ads, and Mochi Ads shares back to the developer.
Exactly. We talked a little bit about game portals. This is the business that we're in also. So we'll tell you a little bit more about what a game portal is. Well, I mentioned before that it is a destination. Game portals have thousands of games, possibly thousands, could be hundreds. So you have this destination where anyone can go to and play all of these games for free. In many cases, they are localized in specific countries. You go to spelletjes.nl, or you go to games.com, for example. You have the different country-specific portals. So they're localized with the local languages and local domain names. Easy to find, of course. Search engine marketing, very, very strong. And we're seeing that the unique visitors are growing on average 7% or so a month. So it's great growth within online games.
Yeah, there are all kind of top players, and sometimes they are distributors or sometimes they are publishers. Now you can read the names, Disney, Yahoo, Oberon, and a lot of these names we are working with as well.
So what do? We have, Peter mentioned already, we have more than 40 online game portals localized all over the world. And you see here in the top portal is our MMORPG portal, and then we have portals targeted toward family, tweens, and girls. How many do we have? 49 portals right now, localized in 18 languages with 3 target groups.
Yeah, and then how many people are playing within our portals? Well, we have reached a new astonishing number of 100 million unique visitors in August. And according to Comscore, who measures online traffic on online game portals, we are now second. And we just passed MSN Games 2 months ago. And in August we were ahead of them already with 7 million. And it will take us, 2-3 months, and then we will have reached the first place in the world. And then, we can call us as being, the online destiny with the most gamers in the world.
So you see it is definitely mass market.
Here there are some nice graphs to show. The red line, that's the line where we started according to Comscore. So back in July 2007, it was almost nothing. And we kept up growing. You see MSN is the green line. It's going down. Yahoo is going down slightly, and we are getting up. So it's just a matter of time that we will pass by Yahoo. A good example also of growth is our Girls Go Games channel. What we see in the internet is that brands and brand names are becoming more and more important. So people really recognize these brands and value them a lot. Girls Go Games is really a portal for girls between 8 and 13. And more kids are coming out on them. And how does that go? The people of the children are talking with each other on the playgrounds and talking, hey, you have to go to Girls Go Games. And you see a tremendous growth. We started in 2007 with nothing, and now we reached last week in the new record of around 1.3 million people which played on the Saturday on this portal. So yeah, where is Spil Games heading for, and what do we want to do? I told you already that around 1.4 billion people are playing online games. Of these 1.4 billion people, 30 to 40% are playing online games. And yeah, we really want to connect all these people and to satisfy them and to give them the best game experience. So what we want is that we reach 40% of all the people who play online games. And if you measure that correctly, that would be around 10% of the online population worldwide. At this moment, we're doing around 6 till 7%. So still you still have some ambitions. This would also mean that in a couple of years 2 billion people will play online, that we want to have 200 million people each month on our portals. But that's not only the thing we're heading for. We have core markets and we have markets which we find least interesting. And the core markets are for us United States, United Kingdom, Holland, France, and Germany. And in these kind of markets we want to have a really strong position of around 15% of the online population. We are investing in our websites, and you could say last year was really a year that we invested a lot in content. And now next year we're really going to invest in the portals. We want to have more and better features. We want to have social features to keep people longer on board and to give them more satisfaction. So yeah, that's really our mission, those who want to play games, to give them the best game experience possible. A lot of people are asking me, what's now the Spil success? And well, we are not an innovative company, you know, we are just want to reach mass audiences. So where do we start? We are a marketing-driven company. We're not technology-driven, we are also not sales-driven. So we start with the customer. What does a customer want? They want to play games. That's an easy one. So they want great games, great content. And yeah, what do they want else? Mostly they do like a local approach. So local domain names, games translated in the local language. It's really something where we put a lot of effort in. If we know what our audiences want, we're looking for the right technology. Sometimes we make that ourselves, sometimes we just buy it. And we make use of open source technology as most as possible. And on the last part, we are sales driven. Of course, we have to make money. But first you need scale. You need to have these mass audiences on your portal, and then you can do the sales. So, and then it's important that, you know, that the sales revenues don't conflict with the user experience, because the user experience is really the most important. Quick facts about Spil Games. We are headquartered in Hilversum. We have an office in Poland and an office in Shanghai. We are now over 160 people. 3 years ago we were just with 10 people in an office. So it is a considerable growth we had.
Well, here's how we're going to end this presentation. We're going to tell you a little bit about what do we really think about the future of online gaming, or what are our hopes and our dreams. I'll tell you what mine is. This is my dog, and let's see. I love to play with my dog. I love to take him outside and run him around, and how cool would it be if he could play games too? I think, yeah, and of course he looks really big here, he's 3 kilo. But it would be awesome if he could play this game. And he's playing Doggy, what's it called? Super Dog. Yeah, Super Dog, of course, on our portals. So he's at home playing this right now.
Yeah, also I have my wish, because I never am very good in controlling all the, you know, the things, and I rather like to think about games. So just thinking and then let everything happen.
Would be nice as well. Don't need a keyboard, don't need a mouse, no hardware. Just thinking about it would be great.
Okay, thanks a lot.
But that's it. If you have any questions.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for this story. I can say, maybe also on behalf of the audience, you are really a marketing-driven company. And questions from the audience first? No? Meanwhile, you said you're going to change your portals, yes? You're going to bring in more social environment, social possibilities. What kind of social environments are we going to think of?
Yeah, you first start with a kind of profiling where you can add high scores to, game reviews, make it possible to get widgets which you place, for example, on your Facebook account, stuff like that.
And how about helping your advertisers with profiling, user profiling? You yourself said we have to identify the players when they come. But when you start with profiles, you're maybe not dependent on the Facebooks and the Hives of this world. How about own profiling?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. What's right? What are you going to do in this field?
Well,
what exactly are your plans?
Already, all of our portals are targeted right now. So we have a girls portal, they're in channels. So we already do know demographics of who's coming.
That's not the question. The question is, are you going to start with user profiles? Can users make their profiles?
Yeah.
And when will you start it? In what amount will you start it? What can they do in this profile?
Yeah, we will start very, in a clever way, just adding some features where they really like. You need a profile to have your high scores there. Mostly you want to show off with your high scores towards your friends. Based on your high scores, you can place reviews. You can see, hey, I've played this game. My friends like also these kind of games. And so you can go do these kinds of games as well.
And how about what can you do with this profile for advertiser targeting?
Yeah, a lot, because we will add, based on what the people give us, we will add, the age of the people to it. Of course, if they're female or male. And if possible, but we have to see if privacy makes it possible, that we can add other features to it as well. Because
you're also working a lot with children. A lot of your users are children, so you need parental control for these profiles, maybe. Are there already questions from the audience? No? Not yet? Yes, over there. If there's someone with a mic here? Yes, someone is coming to you. Yeah, no. We are waiting for a mic. Meanwhile, what is your revenue model right now, and how will it develop in the next 2 or 3 years?
Well, now mainly we're advertising driven, but I do think that in the coming years we will make more money out of MMOs, and because we will drive a lot of traffic, people to these MMOs, and we will share revenues with these MMOs.
Which kind of MMOs do you think of? Because I don't know.
You have got MMOs, for example, for children. For example, a new MMO from Disney will come out, Cars.
Yes.
These kind of MMOs are very interesting.
Okay, you're dealing with Disney?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell some more specific which deal you will close with Disney?
Yeah, how does it look like? For example, Disney is coming out with all kind of MMOs. Cars is a very interesting one. And they are looking for audiences to play these games. And online we have a much larger audience than Disney has. So they're coming to us and we're discussing with them the deal terms that we will give them our players. They will list it within their database, but will be marked as being Spil Games. And then they will pay out all the revenues made by these players, at least a part of.
Yes. Does it mean your own development becomes less important?
Well, the own development of games, flash games, we will increase, but we won't develop MMO games ourselves, because an MMO game, if you want to develop a good one, you need at least a budget of 5 million euros.
Yeah. That's not your target to do that.
I don't have got the money for it.
Okay. So and kind companies like Disney, maybe they want to buy you, so you've more power.
Well, we have to see how that develops, but even though for us it's interesting to become a really dominant player. First, that is our aim. And from that we have to see. It could be possible that in the future it's much more interesting that we say, okay, we are going to invest in MMO environments, we're going to invest in more multiplayer platforms. So really building up a gaming company.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you change your name because in the program you're a Spil game with double L, and there are Spil Games with one.
Well, we used to be Spil Group. We were Spil Group for primarily the life of the company. But we have very much focused. We focused on games. We're focused on game portals. This is what we're doing. This is all that we do. So we dropped Group for games. So recently we went through a rebrand. As you see from the rebrand, and the company name is now Spil with one L also. Because Spil with one L has a meaning in Dutch. And it means to be the center and to be the core, and I don't need to tell everybody here what it means.
Okay, another question from a guy over there.
Hi, you talking about internet, how about mobile games? Games on your mobile? Are you developing things like that?
Yeah, we're going to develop several and we'll give them away for free, and I just have to see if a large audience picks that up. But I think it's too early, so we're taking just small steps.
But that will games on the internet able for a phone, or is it especially for on phones?
No, it will be more be available. For example, we'll make some iPhone games and we'll distribute them for free. And also we are planning to make more flashlight games, and which you can get via mobile internet.
That's it. Even more questions from the audience? Yeah, here over there. There's a guy. Wait some 20 seconds.
Good afternoon. You've showed us all kinds of ad-funded models, business models. Do you expect there will be room for subscription-based or even pay-per-view-based business models?
Subscription in what way?
That people have to subscribe to the site or subscribe to subscribe to your site and they can play games without having ads in front of in between in it.
Yeah, we're not planning that right now. So what we see, our large audience is more willing to go into the open network. But however, we will work, with some distributors which will have more other business models, for example, like subscription. And then we will see which of our target audience wants to go into these kind of models.
Do you have nice examples of serious games that you do, like educational programs?
Yeah, we're doing nothing right yet, but we're very interested in that.
Absolutely.
Nice question. Can you elaborate some more on this field? Is there really a new market for you? These kind of games?
You mean the flash games or the
educational games?
Yeah. There's really a lot of interest in that.
Also international market, or?
Yeah, there's an international market. I think companies who are really going into that and making it, on one hand, fun to play, and on the other hand, make it possible that people and children learn from it. It will be a huge market.
Yeah. Okay, good question. More questions from the audience? No? Then it's 3 o'clock, and I guess we finish this. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation.